In this video, I plan to outline the steps necessary to create a group discussion forum inside of As You Learn or Moodle. And the first step for me in this process is going to be to create the groups. And I'm going to do this by going over to the drawer here on the left-hand side of my screen, opening it up, and going to participants. And then once I'm in this participants list and I see all of the students in this course, I'm going to come over here to the gear menu that's just above the Enroll Users button. Click on this. The third option down is for groups. I'm going to click on that. And then I've already created a couple different groups for this, but the process for creating groups is actually pretty easy. I'm going to click on this button down here for Create Group. I am going to give the group a name, and in this case I'm going to call it Discussion E. Save changes. And you'll notice that at this point I have created my groups, but there are no members in this group. The number in the parentheses represents the number of members you have in the group. I'm going to click on Discussion A, and I'm now going to add the members that should be in my group A for discussion. Next, I'm going to go back to groups. You can either click on the breadcrumb trail here or the button down here for back to groups. And you'll notice that I have two group members in discussion A. I'm going to go ahead and fill the rest of these. Now, as you see, I have my discussion groups created. I have all my members in their groups. I can now, you don't have to save changes at this. I can now just return to the course. And I've completed the first step, which is setting up the groups. The next step for this is setting up the discussion board. So I'm going to come over here to the gear in the top right-hand corner of the screen beneath my name. I'm going to click on this and I'm going to turn editing on in the course. Once I've turned editing on in the course, I'm going to scroll down to the section or module that I'd like to include this discussion in. And I'm going to click on the button here or the link here for Add an Activity or Resource. Under Activities, I'm going to scroll down slightly and find Forum, and I'm going to click on that and click Add. And then I'm going to give this forum a name, and this is also the area here for the description that I would recommend giving some directions for what you'd like students to do. The next step is to select the type of forum that you'd like to use. I would recommend, in most cases, a standard forum for general use is going to be the least restrictive of the options and allow all group members to post threads and respond to one another. And then I guess the final step in this really would be to come down and think about how you would plan to grade or rate this discussion board if that is something you'd like to do. That may be a topic for another video. But once I've created this, I'm going to go ahead and click on Save and Return to the course. And I've now completed the first two steps. I have my discussion groups set up inside of the groups. I also now have my discussion forum. Now there's a couple of different ways that you can change the group setting. And the way that I typically do it, because I just find it a little bit more visual, is once you create groups inside your course, you might notice now that you have icons out to the side for some of these activities. This is an indication that once you have enabled groups, created groups inside of this course, you now have the ability to make these activities group activities. And what I'm going to do is to come down to my discussion board, and if I hover over it, you'll notice that it tells me that it's not set for groups. There's no groups. So even though I have groups in a course, this is not a group-aware discussion forum. The way that I would make this a discussion board that students would be in discussion groups for would be to click on this here, and then now you'll notice that not only did the icon change, but when I hover over it, it tells me that it's in separate groups. And separate groups really are, they can only post to threads within their own group, and they cannot see any of the discussions going on in other groups. The only other setting here, if I click on this, is there is a third setting, which is visible groups, which means the students can't interact with other groups, but they are able to see other groups within this activity. Most of the time, I think that if you're going to do groups in discussion boards, you would want to have it as separate groups so that you know that each of these different discussions is only being influenced by the group members. So now I'm going to come into my discussion board. As the teacher in this course, you'll notice that I can sort this by any of my groups. So if I had some threads that were taking place here, I had some discussions taking place here, I could access all of them, and I could even filter so that I'm only seeing the discussions, the posts and replies by these different groups. But if I come back in here as a student, you'll see that I only have access to the group that I'm assigned, and I'm going to do that now. So I'm now logged into the same course, but I'm logged in as a student who's been assigned to a group. And if I click on the discussion forum, you'll notice that it doesn't give me the option to toggle that. I am in discussion group A, and I only have the option for posting to a discussion topic within the discussion A. So there really is, in summary, 3 steps. One is to create your group. The second is to create your forum. And then the third is to make your forum group aware. And I hope this helps.